and Co.
Let me ask you this. What is the world's biggest problem? Many of you will say poverty, inequality, world hunger, or war. However, there is no point in trying to solve these problems if the whole world just drowns in pollution. Would it surprise you if most plastic is not recycled? In fact, only 9% of plastic is recycled worldwide. In America, only 23% of plastic is recycled, which makes the cost of the wasted water bottles more than $1 billion. We must end this, or our world will become uninhabitable. Our world is being completely overrun by pollution, but most people overlook the problem or don't care enough to make a difference. Nearly and possibly everyone in this room is guilty of this. I will admit that I am as well. Statistics show that everyone here produces about 4.5 pounds of trash today. Companies have unethically passed on this responsibility to the consumers when they converted into the cheaper plastic containers instead of the glass containers. Glass bottles actually do take longer to biodegrade, but they are easier to recycle. Humans have created about 8.3 billion tons of plastic. That is more than a ton of plastic per person. And in fact, if divided equally, each person would have had 2,230 pounds of plastic. One of the biggest problems is the lack of governmental corroboration and the substantiation of companies. They are not taking this predicament seriously enough for the severity of the situation. The government has to stand up and take this case more pensively. Pollution kills as many people as HIV. Companies are using a lot of plastic packaging to package their goods. Plastic is cheap and easy to dispose of, but is very harmful to the world and the environment. David Kotz, a former TED speaker, said that the solution is not to clean the ocean. There is no point in doing so until the source of the plastic has diminished. It is like when a sink is overflowing. It is impossible to clean it up with a mop if you don't turn off the faucet first. Plastic branches off to many other problems. Creating plastic causes the burning of fossil fuels, which have a very limited amount of. These release gases that cause air pollution. The threatening problem of air pollution is very imminent. Acid rain is also a huge problem and can seriously damage cities and hurt both humans and other animals. It causes respiratory diseases and such as chronic breathing problems and severe asthma. Whole forests can be affected. Also, the waste that is created after the manufacturing of plastic is dumped into a source of water. This may not seem like a big problem to you, but 96% of the water on Earth is salt water. Manufacturers dump it into our only usable source of water, fresh water. 2% of our fresh water is in glaciers, which is not a very good option to go to for a source of water. Not only does plastic cause pollution on its own, it is the cause of other pollutants being released. Shockingly, it takes about 3 times as much water to create the amount of water a single water bottle can contain. This is taking away from a very vital fresh water. And it is quite obvious that plastic is in the ocean. I mean, just look up how much plastic is in the ocean. The first thing that pops up is that there are 5 to 13 million metric tons of plastic in the ocean. A metric ton is about 2,205 pounds. Well, enough of that. It's not math class. Let's look at the ecosystem. First, there is plankton. It doesn't start there. Next, there are small fish that eat the plankton. Now, this is where it all starts. See, plastic doesn't biodegrade. It turns into very small pieces, microscopic pieces that other fish mistake as food. The fish will eat the plastic and it enters the food chain. Next, a larger fish comes to eat the fish that ate the plastic. Then an even larger fish eats that, and so on. Now, you may be wondering, why is this so important? So let me ask you, how many of you eat seafood? As I expected, many of you raised your hands. A plastic that was in the smaller fish's stomach will be in the larger fish's stomach and eaten by every one of you who raised your hands. Last time I checked, you don't want to eat plastic. Luckily, there is a way to stop all these bad events from continuing. There's always a solution. There are becoming more biodegradable counterparts, biodegradable materials to combat plastic waste. We must continue this. As more plastic is being created, we have to combat and stop the use of plastic. Biopolymers and magnesium alloys are biodegradable counterparts. Also, we can boycott the use of plastic water bottles and bring the reusable one instead. Some companies have created materials that are almost identical to plastic, except that they are more sustainable. One of the companies I found were the Avani Echo. Is this how our world is going to end? We don't need this to happen. Humans have all the ability to prevent pollution from becoming a bigger problem. The real question is, will you? Are you going to stop and take a minute to pack a reusable water bottle? Anything else? It all counts. Even that small bit, it all counts. Well, this is my passion. And maybe, just maybe, this has made an ever so slight impact on the world and influenced at least one of you in here. Thank you.